Welcome to G More Life, and today at my Donna's request I'm going to be boiling some eggs. She likes the way I end up doing it, and because I get a good result. I've practiced this quite a few times, and we're going to be boiling farm fresh eggs. When I say farm fresh eggs, they are a few days old. I try to use my older eggs first, and we don't refrigerate our eggs. We bring them inside, and this is just an example of some of our eggs. These are from our bluebell eggers, and they're a medium kind of egg right now. They're young chickens, so they'll hopefully get bigger. But we bring them in, and we'll put them in a carton or in a basket and leave them out on the counter here in the air conditioned controlled house. But we don't refrigerate them, and that's part of the trick. Make sure when you start your eggs, if you take them out of the refrigerator, let them come up to room temperature before you try to start this. And with that being said, we'll just go on and we're going to add these to some water. Room temperature farm fresh eggs, and I'll just go on and start over here. Okay, I've started adding them to the pan here, and it's not really, it's just kind of like room temperature water. I've already started putting them in here, and I just want to fill up the bottom of the pan. What I typically do, I was thinking about wanting to add a little bit, few more, but you want to make sure your eggs are covered by about an inch of water. And I typically add eggs until I fill up the entire bottom. And that's what I've got. Oh, and you know, these are pretty clean eggs, and if they're not really clean, I go on and try to wipe off, getting the poo or anything like that off of them best I can. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more water. I'm not gonna push my luck. I'm just gonna stick with what I know. Experimenting on y'all's behalf, but add a little bit more water here, and we're going to put it on the stove. Okay, I got it sitting over here on the stove. Just going to get her cranked up here, and I love cooking with gas. I'm glad we got rid of the electric stove we had here. So much better. We use propane where we're at, and I'm going to get her cranked up, trying to get it to a boil. And when I say to a boil, I'll show you what I mean here in a little while, but not when the bubbles start. Actually, I wait until the water starts moving. It starts circulating pretty good, and then I start my timer. And what you want to do is, for these, I cook them 8 minutes at that water moving boil. And when I get that done, I take them out of here, and I'm going to put them into a ice bath. And I do that for 3 minutes, and then I start peeling them, and I'll show you a secret to kind of helping with my peeling that I do. But let's wait and see if we get this to boiling. I'm not going to sit here and torture you and wait on the water, but I'll show you what I mean right now, that obviously the water is not moving. I guess at this right now we could also test the theory that, as they say, a watch pot never boils, but I bet it does. Okay, through the magic of YouTube here, we've advanced forward here a few minutes, and as you can see, I've got bubbles rising. This is not what I'm talking about boiling yet. I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. Alrighty, now the water has just started moving, if you can see down here in the bottom, and wait here just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna go on and start calling that good. So I'm gonna tell my watch to start time. Siri, 8-minute timer.
8 minutes, counting down.
Okay, we start an 8-minute timer, and what I do, probably just a couple minutes, I go on and start getting my ice together, which I've already done. I've got it in a large bowl, and we will proceed here in a few minutes. So let's go on and watch this boil for a few more minutes. Okay, we got about 2 minutes left, and I usually go on and get my ice out of the fridge and have it standing by. Things clear out of my way. we got about 6 more seconds or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stove so I don't forget. And Siri just told me that it's all done. We want to start pouring off this water. Be careful, steam. And then I'm going to start adding some cooler water back in here. And then we want to get it cooled off with some ice. Siri, 3-minute timer.
3 minutes. Counting down.
All right. So I put it in there for about 3-4 minutes before I start trying to peel them. I'm going to get just rotate it, get that water circulating around them. Because you definitely feel it's warmer on the bottom than it is on the top. It's already circulating. All right, we're going to give that a couple more minutes, and we'll start peeling them. I'll show you a couple of tricks on that. Alrighty, it's been 3 minutes, and I'm going to just pour off just a little bit of water over here so I don't spill it as I come across. But I'll leave it in there. I'll leave it soaking while I'm doing the peeling portion of here. All right, let's see if I can work around this tripod. All right, part of the trick is a couple different things here. You can see how this egg is like maybe just floating a little bit like that in that position, or this end's floating on this end. Keep it to that end, and what you want to do is you want to crack it on the end that was up. And 99% of the time, it's the rounded end. And so if you don't grab them just right, just do the rounded end. And what you want to do, just take and crack it on the end, and see how that one's a little bit on the hollow side. It's usually the little air hole. And you start with peeling it right there. And a lot of times, you'll have that little membrane. And if this one worked out pretty good, it actually is following down. And I just follow that around. And if it feels like it's a little sticky on the egg, just dip it in the water and just keep on going around. And I have a trash can down here. I usually peel right on top of the trash can. Let me drop those in the trash. I just keep on peeling. It comes right off, just like so. And I give it a little rinse, make sure there's no shells on it. Drop my other shell in the trash, or actually, repurpose the shells. In fact, I'll probably maybe set them aside. That one's got busted there. But see how this one's floating just a little bit? I'm going to crack that side right there where it was up. And a little bit of air pocket is what I'm looking for, if you can get them. Sometimes your eggs will be all the way, if they're really, really farm fresh eggs. These, for some reason, always have a little bit of air pocket. But all right. Now, you see the membrane on this one didn't quite peel. And if you still keep trying to peel it, it makes it really hard without getting that membrane. So what I end up doing, I go on and try to get that membrane to tear, and then I want to make sure I'm peeling underneath that membrane. So there we go. I'm underneath the membrane. But if you try to peel on top of the membrane, it ends up tearing your eggs a lot of times. This one's been a little bit more difficult because it's trying to work around the tripod to make it a little harder. All right, there we go. And I'm typically, I guess, right-handed when we sit here, but I kind of go ambidextrous. I write right-handed, but I peel with my left thumb. And my wife has trouble trying to do that. And there we go, another perfectly peeled egg. Let's show you another one. See that one's floating just like that. I'm just going to pick one of these other ones that doesn't really, like this one laying flat. And I'm just going to crack it on the the big rounded end. Get her peeling. There we go, just like so. And I guess maybe through the magic of YouTube, I'll just peel all of these. I'll just fast forward through it. And I'm also just using a little pressure against the egg with my thumb and getting underneath that shell. So I'm just slightly denting it when I'm doing this. I'm making a mess. Good thing my wife's nice and sweet. She'll help me clean it up. Or I will. Oh, see, that one worked out pretty good. And in case y'all didn't know about it, there's also a way of doing what's called a float test your eggs to see about freshness. If they're laying, if you put them in water to lay flat, they're totally fresh. They start to stand up, you know, they're still good, but they're older. Whoops, I don't know why I just cracked it in there. They're older, and if they float to the top, yeah, you might consider not using them. Go on and crack them open and do a sniff test and test them. They may or may not be good, but if they float to the top, typically I wouldn't use them. Beautiful. Oops. And this one might be difficult. I didn't really find the air pocket on that one. Yep. These kind make it even more difficult. And I haven't got underneath the membrane yet. There we go. I think I may have found it that way. There we go. It's a little egg too. Cute little egg. Ah, it turned out perfect. Yeah. And if anybody's got some better suggestions and stuff, I've heard of, you know, baking soda, stuff like that, put in, and I can't talk and do the same time, I guess. If anybody has a better way of doing this, please share it. I'm always learning, and I totally torched that one. So I've got two here, down here in the bottom, that that one's partial, but most of these other ones, great shape. Got two I've tortured, but that's not too bad. And the last one is a baby one. A lot of times the little ones are really hard to do. Yep, this one being rather difficult. So, yep, going to torture it. There we go. Yeah, this one's almost not worth it. It's giving me some issues there. Trying not to. Try not to pull most of the egg away. This shell is not wanting to come off there. Yep. Of course. Last one on the video. The most challenging. Come on. Let's finish strong, Mac. Can we salvage it? The dramatic ending. Stay tuned. Oh, crap. Most of it. Got most of it. So I got, let's see. That one's partially messed up. So I got two. Let me go here. This one got a little bit. There we go. All right. Can we see that real good? All right. So what we got in here? 30 eggs. I don't think we got 30 in mine. Wasn't 30. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 5, 6. So 5 out of 26. Not sure what the ratio is on that, but it's not too bad, and they're not horrible. This one's kind of yank. But all right, that was a workout, but you had pretty good success rate. I usually do a little bit better than that. Maybe I'd use some eggs that were a little too fresh, but that's pretty much the gist of it. It's been working out pretty good for us. We've had heck over the years messing with farm fresh eggs. I mean, that worst peeled one way most of them would look when we first started doing this. But if you have a better way, please mention it in the comments. I'm always up to better ideas. I've heard of using baking soda, some other things like that. We've tried it. It just didn't seem like it worked too well for us. And I just started using this timing method and the temperatures, basically, to make sure you start with room temperature eggs. The older the egg, the better. These are pretty fresh. They're just a few days old. And I bullet, 8 minutes for the minimum size. Since it's a little smaller, the 8 minutes, it works really good for getting it done, but not too hard. You can go from 8 to 10, depends on how much doneness you want. And that's about it. Oh, and then get into the ice bath to get that temperature stop and get them stop cooking. Not use that 3 minutes because I want to start peeling because it seems like you leave them there too long. For me, it didn't work very well. Then again, I'm always hungry. But if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please make them below, even if they're negative. It helps out on the algorithm. And as always, at G More Life, thanks for watching.